What's up, people? Back with another reaction, and I'm back to react to an artist on the channel for the first time. And anytime I do that, I just like to say welcome to anyone who's just found the channel looking for the artist in question, in this case, Dubstar. And I'd also like to start by giving a massive shout out to champion of the channel, Philip, a friend of mine from Scotland who has made a number of albums available to me, which is further to say, as you can see here, I'm a collector of physical music, or physical copies of music. I'm in my early 40s. I started buying cassette tapes when I was a kid in the 80s. I now have a couple thousand vinyl records. I'm a DJ, I have a number of different styles, but I also have a couple thousand CDs and all different kinds of music, both electronic and normal, punk rock, hip hop, reggae, classical music, down-tempo, trance, techno, jazz, and so on. So if you look at my reaction playlist, you'll see there are many, and they are very broad and wide. But yeah, Philip has made a number, Philip and a number of other people I should mention, have made a number of albums available to me that either I didn't have previously or that I'd never heard of previously. And indeed, in the last few months I've gone on some binges of buying new albums and going on deep dives, but as I've done that, there's a limit to what I can buy, and a number of people have stepped up and allowed the channel to continue to go on deep dives before I actually get physical copies, though in many cases I do plan on doing that. But yeah, there's an artist that Philip said I should take a look at, and he has great taste in music, indeed, great comments on the different reaction playlists that I'm doing, the different groups that I'm going through, and yeah, I really feel like there's a lot of cases where his impression of a tune really does get close to where my brain sees it or hears it. So yeah, I'm curious that any group that he would suggest in that regard. So we're going to listen to Dubstar, which according to Discogs is a synth pop slash dream pop group. I'm interested by that label or that description. That started in the 90s, which, you think of a lot of synth pop groups, even ones that continued on, on into the present day. The 80s is sort of the real hotbed of activity for when a lot of those groups got started, so I'm interested by a group that has a synth-like heavy approach to pop music that started in the 90s. Also, they're from Newcastle, meaning, north of England, and I believe that the singer, I think Philip said, has a sort of northern accent, so I'm curious about that. He did mention that it's not like a full-blooded Geordie accent, which, because I mentioned, I've been watching football and just British entertainment for a long time, so I've heard a lot of different accents. I even have a handle on a lot of different regional dialects. But the Geordie accent is one where, there are times where it's like, I'm not even sure what he just said. And I mentioned this to a friend of mine, unfortunately passed away now, but a few years back I mentioned him. He was from Hertfordshire. And he said, mate, don't even worry about it. Most of us in England don't know what the heck Geordies are saying, which really did make me laugh. But yeah, so my understanding is that the singer has a bit of a northern accent, so I'm curious by that as well. But the first tune on the first album that we're going to go through from, the album is Disgraceful, it's from 1995, and the first tune is called Stars, which, there's a few different ways you can take that. And for those of you new to the channel, when I react to a song I definitely know, I usually just talk about the lyrics for a couple minutes, the way they've hit me, not in any authoritative way, just, my impression of the words and what they may mean, or the different ways you could interpret them. And when I listen to a tune I haven't heard before, I'll just speculate for a minute or two about the title. It's an exercise to get my brain working. Sometimes I approach one or two of the themes that is actually in the song, although even then it's often from a different angle than the song actually takes it. But yeah, stars, a literal interpretation. You could be talking about celebrities, but you could also be talking about nuclear fusion, astronomical stars. So yeah, I feel like one could be a metaphor for the other. Oftentimes, that's when someone says a star, it's because they're shining bright, even if they're referring to a person. So obviously it's a metaphor that could work on different levels at the same time. But yeah, it's plural, so we're not talking about one person or one source of light in particular. Yeah, we'll have to see what they do with it, but I'm intrigued by this, so let's get it. This is Dubstar. The track is Stars from their 1995 album Disgraceful. Smooth, a bit jazzy. I love this as an opener.
Too much to be given time.
didn't think about the possibility of the stars ceasing to shine. Don't watch it happen.
Asking too much of my favorite friends to take these songs for real. Is it asking too much of my partner's hands to take these songs for real? But as the stars are going out and this stage is full of nothing, and the friends have all but gone. For my life, my God, I'm singing. We'll take our hands outside, leave our lives behind.
Singing you more.
The stars we'll take our hands outside, leave our lives behind. Watch the stars
Leave our lights or our lives behind. Pay attention.
We'll take our hands outside, leave our lives behind. Watch the stars we'll take our hands outside, leave our lives behind. Watch the stars we'll take our hands outside, leave our lives behind. Watch the stars.
Maybe heard the accent a little in the stars. That word. Beautiful. I loved it. I'm even more excited about this now. I was thinking, like, okay, a synth pop group, or at least that's sort of the label that, the music world has kind of put on their work. But that, again, began in the 90s, so not gonna sound, necessarily like Yazoo or Erasure or something like that. So I was curious what the sonic template or sort of atmosphere would be, but that was amazing. It was smooth, but it had groove to it. Especially at the measure transitions, it really sort of like seemed to find like a good tonal shift. Bottom line, that was fantastic. Like lyrically, I gotta hear it some more. Again, when I do reactions to a song I've never heard before, I try to catch as much as I can. Sometimes I'm distracted by the sonics where like the words are kind of like blurring by a little bit because like some element, even the vocals, like, sometimes it's like I'm so intrigued by the nature of the delivery that some of the lines kind of blur by. But when I do reactions like this, I do successive listens in which you listen in headphones and try to catch more of it. But do let me know if you got an angle on that one. I'm sure Philip will have something to say about this. Once again, thank you massively for sharing not only this material, but all the material you have shared with me, as well as other champions of the channel who might see this. You are massively appreciated, as well as all friends of the channel who comment or just watch the videos. Yeah, it's become quite a big musical party on the channel, sharing it with like more and more people. I really do appreciate you all. But yeah, bottom line, a very cool album opener. Looking forward to the rest of this album and more Dubstar. So yeah, let me know what you think of the tune. I will see you next time. Peace.